Today's discussion is on a topic very close to my heart. It has to do with solo travel. Now, I really remember the days when I would tell people, I'm traveling alone, and I would get these mixed glares of, is everything all right? Why would she do that? And I think, we've come a long way from there. I was looking at some data before writing my article on the subject, and it was quite fascinating to see the kind of numbers we're talking about. I'm just going to take the liberty to read some of these out. So, the Forbes Travel Trends Report of 2025 highlights a strong global trend in the intent to take at least one solo trip in the next year. Of course, it's younger travelers who are leading this shift. The International Travel Outlook of India, covered by NDTV, adds a striking local dimension, noting that 66% of India's outbound travel plans for the coming year are expected to be solo. Then there is the American Express Global Travel Trends Report, slightly older, which shows 76% of millennials and Gen Z plan to take a solo trip this year. It also finds that 57% of travelers prefer short solo weekend getaways, and close to 33% would prefer to explore a new city by themselves. So we can see that this data is all pushed, whether you look at India or globally, it's all headed in that singular same direction. So why is this happening? What is making solo travel so mainstream? Let's look at this underlying psychology, and I am going to tell you from personal experiences why I feel this is, really the reason behind these soaring numbers for solo travel. Now, the first, of course, is time that belongs to me. Uh, this comes from the autonomy bias, which really is about moving or uh, turning towards choices that are made by me, for me, allow me to choose the way I want. And this time by yourself, right from a tram ride to the the air travel, to when you're sitting by yourself at a place, this time is all yours. It's only yours, and that heightens the sense of autonomy. From there, we talk about I've spoken about experiencing, that entire trip on your on your own terms. Now, this is the egocentric bias, because you prefer, and once again, like to do things in your particular way. Now, what happens when you travel in a group? You are going to try and keep everybody happy. Somebody wants to go shopping, somebody wants to go to a museum, somebody wants to sightsee in a different place, somebody now wants to just sit back in the hotel and chill. It's unlikely that you'll pick a fight, and everyone's trying to, reach a sort of a consensus on the best way to make everyone happy. What happens when you're traveling alone? You do exactly what you want, how you want to, and it's so in your hands. And I have to, this little anecdote. When I was traveling, I took I usually take this 3-day travel pass. You get on a tram, and anything that looks interesting to you, you just get off, explore that place, you like it, sit there for hours, do whatever you like. It's just a completely different experience than, completely planning the day to make sure everyone's happy, everyone's taken care of. Uh, then there's, of course, the entire lightness which comes with traveling and planning on your own. Right from getting the dates right, to the airline that everybody's comfortable, to the hotel that everybody wants to stay in, to the very location that you're going to travel to, planning a trip in a group tends to be a lot tougher. And that's where the effort heuristic comes in, because you feel you are almost drained by the time you'll end up going for this trip. As against solo travel, it's what you want, how you want, when you want, it's all in your hands. The next part uh, comes from the illusion of control. While there may be a lot of things that aren't in your control, and when life might be going all over the place, those little choices that you can make, whether it's the pace of your travel, whether it's what you do in the day, it just adds that little bit more of control in your hands, which makes you feel like you have a little more of control with you. And finally, you have the confidence that the visibility brings. When we look at the numbers, and I was personally, while I love traveling by myself, I was quite surprised by the numbers I saw here. That level of solo travel coming up means people see more of it, whether it's on social media, whether it's friends, family. you start knowing people who are traveling solo, who are doing these trips on their own, and that just motivates you and gives you that confidence to go do that travel. Of course, why this trend continues to grow is because every time a person comes back from that solo trip, it's not so much about the travel or the place, but that inner rhythm that you almost got back after a crazy year at work or any kind of stress that you have. That little extra introspection which happens when you're by yourself just makes you that much more energized and ready to get back at it all when you come back. I hope this helps to move the conversation from what works to why it works.